It is a great honor and privilege to engage with librarians across the African region. Africa is a home to the world's richest oral storytelling traditions, traditions that preserved history, preserved morality, and definitely a collection of wisdom for generations. So, in many African communities, storytellers are not merely entertainers, but they are custodians of memories and they nurture values to each one of us. So, today we reflect as contemporary librarians how we can consciously model storytelling as both pedagogical and therapeutic practices within the learning spaces. I am Maria Fenicolau, and I am currently working here in Jakarta, Indonesia, as the head librarian and extended essay coordinator. As a core member of the Global Librarian, I do collaborate worldwide to develop inclusive and innovative library programs. I'm also actively involved in international baccalaureate community and I travel across Asia Pacific to support teachers, librarians, and of course students. So I'm passionate about storytelling, bibliotherapy, and empower and I help empower the librarians to create inspiring spaces to foster children's emotion, cognitive, and mental growth. Allow me to share with you the objectives of the session. So, the first one is to understand the role of storytelling as a tool for emotional well being and critical thinking. The second one is to observe practical storytelling techniques that we can replicate with our own students or our own children. And finally, to apply reflections and questioning strategies to guide discussions after the storytelling. Storytelling is an art indeed. However, it is also a deliberate educational intervention. So we use these words to connect with people, to entertain, to educate, to influence, or even provide lasting impact. Through storytelling, we try to modulate our voice, to bring life and scenes to life, and definitely to enhance the listener's immersion in the story. And lastly, action. Use facial expression, the body language that we have to capture the listener's attention and interests. Why storytelling matters. The first one, it stimulates imagination and creativity. So through storytelling, it activates the imaginative faculties of the students by inviting them to visualize the characters, the setting, and even the immediate environment that the characters have. So when the learners mentally construct narrative worlds, they practice creative thinking and flexible cognition. The second one is it strengthens language and communication skills, meaning that through exposure of rich vocabulary, varied sentence structures, and even expressive dialogues, storytelling enhances linguistic competence of the students. Listening to and retelling stories develop that narrative sequencing, articulation, and even confidence in verbal expression. The third one is it supports emotional expression and empathy. So, meaning that stories provide safe symbolic spaces where children can explore complex emotions indirectly through the characters. So, by identifying with narrative experiences, listeners develop emotional vocabulary and greater awareness of their own feelings. The fourth one is it encourages critical thinking and problem solving. How does this work? This means that the storytelling invites the learners to analyze motives, to interpret symbolisms, and evaluate consequences within the narrative contexts. So, by questioning characters' decisions and exploring alternative endings, I like this alternative ending. Sometimes the ending is so sad that the students themselves would like to change it into a happy ending. That is really something about the problem, critical problem solving, critical thinking and problem solving in the students. So in this sense, students practice reasoning, inference, and even perspective taking. And finally, storytelling matters because it builds safe awareness and resilience. So when children see characters navigating challenges and growth, they begin to reflect on their own experiences and coping strategies. Stories normalize struggles and model perseverance, reinforcing the understanding of the learners that growth is gradual and attainable, possible to make solution, possible to reach that kind of concern that they are facing. And this way, storytelling strengthens identity, information, and emotional resilience. What is the role of bibliotherapy in storytelling? So I'm going to make use of some symbolisms to present the role of bibliotherapy. One is mirror. When a story functions as a mirror, it affirms a child's identity, culture, language, struggles, and even the strengths of the child. So, for many learners who are unseen or unheard, encountering a character that shares their background and emotional experience validates their sense of belonging and reinforces the message my story matters. The next symbolism is it acts as doors. The role of bibliography acts as doors. Why? It opens new possibilities and ideas. So when stories act as doors, they move beyond reflection and observation to inspiration and action. A narrative can suggest that alternative futures are possible. The resilience can lead to growth. The voice can be heard, and that circumstances do not define destiny. And the last symbolism is window or windows. This allows children or students to see and understand different perspectives. So as stories as windows, they expand a child's worldwide view by offering safe encounters with unfamiliar cultures, social realities, and even belief systems. So, through narrative immersion, learners begin to understand complexity, differences, and shared humanity without direct confrontation and judgment. Tips to be a good storyteller. So the first one is know your audience. Effective storytelling begins with understanding who the listeners are, their age, their cultural background, the language level, and even emotional needs. So when storytellers adapt tone, examples, the complexity to their audience, the story becomes relevant rather than distant. So the next one is know the story by heart. Oh, this is really, really a significant point for me as a storyteller because knowing the story by heart or deeply allows us storytellers to move beyond reading and truly engage with the audience. When you internalize the narrative structure, key emotions and turning points, you gain freedom to make eye contact, to see whether your audience are sleeping, yawning, smiling, or laughing, or interacting with you. We tend also to adjust our pacing and respond naturally to listeners' reactions. The third one is use voice modulation. If the character is a giant, definitely the voice is big, loud. If the character is a lady, the voice also differs. So the voice is a very, very powerful instrument in storytelling. Varying tone, pace, volume, and pauses help create suspense, highlight emotion, and differentiate characters, keeping listeners attentive and immersed. The fourth one is use facial expressions, gestures, and body language. Non-verbal communication reinforces meaning and emotion within the story. That we know. Intentional gestures and expressive facial cues make abstract ideas concrete and clear and help children to interpret the emotional landscape of the narrative. And finally, make eye contacts with the listeners or with your audience. Eye contact establishes connection and trust between storyteller and the audience. When listeners feel seen and acknowledged, they are more likely to engage actively and definitely internalize the message of the story. So I hope with the tips of a good storyteller, bring this or bring this takeaway, this information back in your own classroom, back in your own school, and make a difference in the lives of the students. Allow me to share with you on how to explore the tips to become a good storyteller. I'm sure you're familiar with the story of the small bubble tree by Mojisola Adebayo. So allow me to share this with you. In a wide golden savanna, under a burning sun, there stood a very small baobab tree. All around it were tall, brown trees. They whispered in the wind, "You are too small. You are not strong enough. You do not belong here." Well, the baobab tree tried to grow taller overnight. It stretched its branches. It forced its roots deeper. But still, it was small. One day, a group of children walking home from school sat beside the small tree. "At least this one gives a shade," one child said. The baobab listened carefully. It realized something very important. It did not need to be the tallest tree. It only needed to give what it could be. Season passed. The small baobab grew slowly but steadily. Its trunk became strong. Its shades widened. And the tall trees, they stopped whispering. The end. After telling the story, definitely there is a follow up to that. And that follow up questions or follow up activities can be linked to support the well being or even the critical thinking aspect of the lesson. So, one of which in supporting the bibliotherapy or the well being is an activity related to stepping on child's perspective. So, this is in relation to the story of Baobab Tree. Imagining how the child feels, reacts, or even thinks, and definitely considering their emotions, their curiosity, and also anticipating possible questions that may arise during the discussion. Allow them to write their reflection. However, there are some students who are not comfortable in writing words, phrases, sentences, and paragraphs. Then allow them to write or draw or illustrate their reflections. How did they relate with the characters' feelings? How they might ask questions about the story or its characters. And finally, allow them to share their thoughts, discuss, and interact with other friends who are around in the classroom. This is bibliography in action. The story allows children to see themselves safely through the character. We are done with the bibliotherapy aspect of connecting the story. Now we move on to the critical thinking aspect or the critical thinking skills. But at this point, I would like you to do this part. So we'll have around 10 minutes to work on this, but choose one of the activities, one of the 5 activities to work on. It can be perspective shift activity. It can be a Socratic circle discussion, and you have some points to discuss from there. You have another critical thinking skills, which is alternative ending design. So you have that one. You have also a real life application case study. So connection between the fiction to a live experience that you have or the students have, or even a metaphoric mapping. So more on the interpretation of symbols that you were able to identify from the story. So the activity revolves on the story of the baobab tree. So again, choose one of the critical thinking skills activity to work on for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we will be requesting you to share your thoughts and ideas with other participants in the group, and maybe other participants in the group can comment, can support, or even argue. Thank you. We come to an end of this presentation, and I would like to leave this inspirational quote with you. Storytelling is not about performance, it is about presence. It is about noticing the child who feels invisible. It is about offering shade before they even ask. Because when a child discovers their value in the story, they begin to believe they belong in the world. Thank you, everyone.